To start our year off, I thought we'd begin with some initial discussion of what rhetoric is, since rhetoric will be the unifying theme for our studies this year. I've asked you to read 3 short pieces for the first week of class, just 4 paragraphs from Aristotle's On Rhetoric, a notable modern article called The Rhetorical Stance by Wayne Booth, and finally Pericles' funeral oration. Why these 3? Well, the Greeks were rhetorical masters, and some of the first people to really think or write about the topic, so much of Aristotle's work is definitive on the subject. You'll notice that much of what Booth describes in the rhetorical stance lines up with what Aristotle discusses. You can break it down into what the Greeks called logos, pathos, and ethos. Logos is the actual reasoning, the argument, or the content of the speech. Ethos is the character and the voice of the speaker, and pathos is the speaker's knowledge of his audience and ability to move their emotions based on his understanding of them. When you're reading Booth's article, it might occur to you that I have left you as directionless as he and many instructors do their students when it comes to defining who the audience is. Well, in general, for this course and for most English courses, you should consider your audience a well-educated person without too much specific knowledge of the topic you're discussing. In other words, you should assume they're smart enough to clearly reason through your discussion and understand most of your vocabulary, but that they don't have a great deal of background knowledge about whatever it is you're deciding to write about. Many of your parents might fall into this category. They're knowledgeable enough to take charge of your education, but may not have thought too much about the intricacies of rhetoric. I've chosen Pericles because I thought it best to start with the Greek, since we're talking about the beginnings of rhetoric. While we lose much of the intricacy of rhetoric in translation, you can tell even through this English version that this is a brilliant speech. Over the next few weeks, we'll learn a horde of technical terms to describe the rhetorical devices, but I'm not expecting you to be too technical in your first discussion board post. I'd like you to think in general terms about what makes this speech engaging, beautiful, and meaningful. You might start by thinking about a few general terms we use to describe writing, words like diction, tone, voice, point of view, or imagery, to get some of your thoughts going. As I said in the assignment description, I'm leaving the essay fairly open-ended structurally. I'd like to see that you've read and understood both Aristotle and Booth, and that you can succinctly but interestingly describe and explain an elusive term like rhetoric. As I degrade your essay, I'll be looking for accurate grammar, spelling, and formatting, as well as thoughtful ideas, well-constructed sentences, and an effort to engage your audience. So good luck. I look forward to reading your essays.